Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar today. The subject of this webinar is what's new in Advanced Design 2024. And we are going to be focusing mostly on cold form steel design that we have added newly to the new version of Advanced Design 2024. My name is Farshad Purshark, and let's continue with our presentation. So to give you a short agenda of what we will be talking about in this webinar, first of all, we will talk about the cold form design based on AISI code, which can be used in North America. We will talk about and show you the new material and section libraries that we have added for cold form design to Advanced Design. Calculation of effective section properties for verification of all core form sections based on standard libraries. Then we will talk about the code checks and design criteria that we are doing for code form sections in new Advanced Design 2024. And finally, I'm going to show you the details of the design sheets and reports that Advanced Design creates for your cold form steel design projects. So talking about the cold form design based on AISI code, so if I want to show you, so as you see here, now in the new version of Advanced Design, both for Canadian and United States localization, we have, as you see here, the AISI code added for steelwork. So the way that you can use this code is just set your localization, and here in your steelwork, you just switch the code either to using the US localization or Canadian one to AISI, and then you can actually create and design projects using this new code that we have added. So we also have updated our libraries for material and sections for cold form sections. So if I go to the next slide, you will see that here now in the properties of the member, you have the option to either define any type of cold form material and as well all of the standard cold form sections. So basically how you can define those in Advanced Design, you can just go to material properties for the material, and here in the family of steel, you just switch to ASTM cold form, and here as you see, you will have the option to select the required material type in your project. So we already defined all of the standard material of ASTM libraries, which is updated, and you can just select the material, import it inside your project, and after that you will be good to go and you will assign it to your member as you see here. Same scenario for sections. So in order to assign your cold form sections to your project, you basically go to the library of sections in Advanced Design, and you will find a new entry here, which is called North American cold form profiles. And currently we have all of the standard library sections, so C sections with lips or with joists and studs, C sections without lips. We have equal leg angles with lips and without lips, hat sections, and two types of C sections as the main family of cold form sections. And after that, you will see here that we have the full library for each category. So you basically go on, select your section, and as well you will see the section dimensions there. And also here in the screenshot, I have added some screenshots here that how your sections will look like in Advanced Design. So as you see here, like other steel sections in Advanced Design, it's going to be fully rendered in 3D, and you will have the presentation of your cold form section in your model as you see here. So calculation of effective section properties for verification and design. So Advanced Design will automatically perform the calculation of effective width and effective area for cold form section. So as you know, for cold form section design, we need to calculate those parameters to verify basically our sections. So as soon as you're doing a cold form section, Advanced Design will give you a kind of like a warning that all of the special calculus parameters for cold form sections will be done automatically and internally using the Advanced Design internal engine for cold form design. And as you see here, you can always consult those values later on in your design spreadsheet and in the reports. So what kind of code checks and criteria for cold form sections we have in Advanced Design? So actually you can see it here. So here I have added a screenshot of the design load ratio for different sections that I have in this model. And as you see here, it will work similar to hot rolled sections. So you will see the workload ratio as percentage here, and as you see as color code here based on different parts of your section. What type of code checks we do for sections, as you see here. So we can check for pure tension, pure compression, bending Y direction, bending Z direction, so basically strong and weak axis bendings, for shear, and as well web crippling will be checked for all of your sections. And for combined checks, as you see here, we have 4 of them that Advanced Design can check for you. So combined moment and axial force, moment and shear, moment and web crippling, as well moment and torsional checks can be performed in Advanced Design for these cold form projects. What results Advanced Design will provide for you to just check and verify your project? So we will have both design sheets and as well reports. So in this screenshot, as you see here, I created kind of like an overview or example of the shape sheet that you will get from Advanced Design for cold form sections, and as well here on the right side, you see a much more detailed report. So as you see here, for each kind of check, first of all, you can see what type of check we are doing, what is the unfavorable case for that specific scenario, and as well, if you have those kind of internal forces in that model, Advanced Design will automatically perform the check. So for example, for compression, bending, etc. And you can also check that even in the shape sheets, the results and the reports are very detailed. So you can always check which kind of parameters and values Advanced Design is using to basically perform that specific check. And finally, on the last one, as the column on the right side, you can see the work ratio for each of those checks that we have performed. And finally, you will also see the maximum. If it's not passing, you will see that it's going to be displayed as red. Same thing here in the detail reports. First of all, you will have the full properties of that section and material that Advanced Design is using. And here we will have even more formulas. So basically, these formulas are directly coming from ASI code, and you see the chapters and clauses that Advanced Design is using to calculate basically that specific work load ratio. And finally, all of the parameters can be checked from here just to make sure that your design is passing, or even how Advanced Design is calculating those design load ratios if you want to go more into detail. So I can show you maybe a short demonstration of how this tool and this new feature will work in Advanced Design. So I can actually now switch to Advanced Design 2024. Okay, I have opened Advanced Design 2024. So as you see here, so as I mentioned earlier, the first thing that you need to do to basically use the new code is going to be going to project configuration. So here we can select our localization. So either if we use United States or Canada, you can just switch there. You can switch to your language, either to French or English. And here in Steelwork, as you know, we have all of the codes, even passcodes here, but the ASI S100 is accessible from here. Basically, you can select the code and the Steelwork will be done based on the ASI code for cold form sections from here. So I can use S1619 ASI code and click OK. So I already have created a project here, so I can simply open that just to show you how this works. So basically, I have like 6 types of sections here, and I have applied some supports on those. So if I click on, let's say, properties of this member, so as you know, in advanced design, the material will be defined here, and as well the sections is going to be here. So to just show you the libraries, the new libraries that we have, you can simply click here, go to the libraries, and here in our library section, you see that I have steel and ASTM cold form. So obviously, we have also other material types, but for cold form section, we will use steel. And as well in the subcategories, again, in between all of the codes that we have here, we will use ASTM cold form. And advanced design basically will bring up all of the possible cold form material that we have. And these material properties and definitions and even namings are all coming from the ASI code and standard. So basically, you select your material, import it inside the project here, and you will be good to go. So of course, if you want to also check the mechanical properties of that specific material, you can click here and you can check the properties. So this was for the material, and for the sections, same scenario. So I can go to the sections libraries from here, and if I scroll down here, we will see that there's a new entry here. So North America cold form profiles, and here basically we have all of the types, standard types of cold form sections, again coming from standard libraries here, there, and again for each section type I can just, for example, go to Z section with leaves, and here you have the section names, again based on the standard libraries, and as well the required parameters for this specific section. And as I mentioned earlier, these the direct properties will come from the table, but the rest of them, again, for cold form sections, we need to calculate more properties to verify and code check them. Let's say effective area and effective widths. Those ones will be calculated automatically using the internal engine of advanced design. So as soon as you select your section, you can just click the section, click OK, and then that section basically will be assigned to your project or to your member here. So as well, basically, you will need to define some supports for your members and also some loads, okay? So here I have defined some supports, and as well I have applied some loads if you check them here. So just to show you the interaction checks that we will be doing, let's say in this section. So in this to this Z section, I have applied, like, first of all, it has its own dead weight, and after that I have applied a punctual load out of plane in weak axis bending. I have applied the compression. Also, I have applied a torsion, as you see here. So just to show you how advanced design will perform these checks. As you know, just to perform the design, the second option after defining the loads will be creating combinations. Again, here I have used some standard combinations here with coefficients, but you can always add more. And now I will perform my basically analysis and design. So basically, you will create a new one, and directly you can do steel calculation. So advanced design will automatically know that these are code form sections based on their material and their section. So click OK, and it's going to start the calculation. There you go. If there are some errors in some of the actually warnings in some of the sections, it will be shown here, but that's a warning, so it's not going to block us from calculating our model. And here I can get my basically deformation results from here. As well, you can check for the combinations results from there. If you want to see the internal forces, basically we can go to the members. First of all, we switch to forces and go to members here, and I can see the forces that are being applied here. So as you see here, my top element here, I'm applying minus 70 pound of forces, just to give you an example. And as well, you can check the all of the moments in strong axis, as you see here. So basically, we can also make our diagram smaller. So these are going to be like our moment in strong axis, and as well, as I mentioned earlier, for the top one, top member, I have applied an out-of-plane force in weak axis bending, just to check how software will perform my design for this code form section. So these are going to be like some simple finite element results. And now to check for design, or basically the code check verifications, we have here steel design. So basically you can check strengths or deflection. In this case, we will check strengths. And the good thing here is you can actually see the work ratio for either of the internal forces. You can check the work ratio for web crippling, especially for cold form sections, or you can check the max work ratio, which is going to be basically the maximum of all of the internal forces that you see here. So we can go directly to max work ratio and click on our post-processing, and there you go. So here I can see that like these two ends of my Z cold form section here, it's overstressed, and as well a bit in the center part. So, and the other ones are okay because I have not applied high forces to those. So if I want to go more into detail, basically what I can do is you can select that specific section. So let's say in this case, this section. And first of all, I can check the shape sheet from here, click there. So it will bring up the name of the section and cross-sectional properties and material properties down there. If we have activated the deflection check, you can have the deflection checks. And finally, cross-section strengths. This is the main part that advanced design will tell you what's actually happening with design of your cold form section. So as I mentioned earlier, for this bottom one, I'm not applying so high forces. So the specific checks that advanced design will do, it's going to be based on the forces that we have in this section. So basically no tension, compression, but we have bending. So advanced design is checking for that, and as well shear. And if it's related, it will also do the combined checks for those internal forces. And as you see here, you can see clearly what's the resistance shear, for example, and what is the applied shear. As well, for the other parts, you see the clear formulation here that how advanced design is basically calculating this load ratio. So I can even, for example, because in this case, in the topper one, I have more forces applied, so we can check that one too. So you click there, and we can click here, and there you go here, because I have applied much more forces there. So I have a compression check, bending in strong axis, bending in weak axis, and also I have the required interaction, basically calculations that we need to have to check basically that member. And you see the chapters here that advanced design is checking for this cold form section. So this was like about our shape shift. As well, as I mentioned, you can also get the project, the properties of that section that advanced design has calculated. And finally, we also provide you with design reports. So I can simply click here on edit detail report, and this is going to give you even more detailed results. You see here, you will see the full formulation, all of the values that advanced design is using to calculate that percentage. So, and you can actually go on and check these values one by one, these parameters one by one, to see how advanced design is calculating your resistance. So it is not a black box. You can always go and check what's happening to the section. So yeah, this was basically a short overview of code form steel design based on ASI code in the new Advanced Design 2024 version. So let's go back to our slides. Okay, so let's move on. So just to give you a conclusion of what basically we can do for code form design in Advanced Design 2024. So we have it there, so ASI code, you can use it now. We have the full libraries of sections and materials. The effective properties of a section will be calculated automatically in Advanced Design. We are covering the required code checks and criteria for core form sections based on the code. And finally, we provide you with design sheets and detailed reports in case if you want to inspect and investigate more into detail what kind of parameters software is using for performing your the design. So I would like to have a reminder here for an event that we have every year for Advanced Design users. So it's called Advanced Design Awards 2023. So like past years, this is an event which is basically created, and it's an international contest which is basically created for structural engineers and design offices. So if you have a project that you have worked in advanced design, either steel, timber, concrete, or even design modules, you can always participate in this award. So it has some benefits, as you see here. So basically, you can win an award. You are competing with the best projects from all over the world. You can grab international attention. Basically, you are getting the latest market trends, and as well, you can put the spotlight on your company. So yeah, if you have a project that you have done in advanced design, you can always visit the website here. So it's called advanceddesignaward.com, and you can submit your project. Okay, thank you very much for your attention about this webinar. So if you have any questions, you can always use the chat tool here that I can answer your questions. Or if you want to submit another questions later on, you can always contact our technical support. So it's support.canada@graitec.com and support.us@graitec.com. Thank you very much again for your time.